Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Napoleon, and today we are back with another Enlisted video, and today we are going to be talking about the weapons that Enlisted should remove. And the reason is because some of them are straight upright overpowered, some of them because are underpowered, and the other reason is because there are so many better options. Now, Enlisted should just remove them and just call it a day. So without further ado, let's just get started with the video itself, and we have to start with the jets. One of the most recent things that Enlisted has added is the jets, and this is actually pretty interesting stuff to use. The only issue is that as of right now, we only have two jets that are used in World War II. And the reason why I say that is because the Me-260 was used in World War II, and the Kika was also used in World War II. Granted, the Kika was only test flown, but we still have to talk about it's still used. Now, of other jets such as the Su-9 and the Meteor are not used at all, not even mention the F-80, so we have a problem regarding that. Granted, I do think that Enlisted is heading towards the Cold War, so if Enlisted wants to do that, they might as well just give us Cold War stuff later on. But as of right now, I don't think that adding jets is such a good idea considering how jets were implemented. I do think that jets should get bigger maps or spawn behind and be used accordingly. Moving on, we do have another weapon, and that is the Panzerschreck, and this is the RPG B-43. And this is essentially one of those things in which it's been given to everyone except for the Soviets as of right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Enlisted gives it to the Soviets. And the reason is because it's simple. For the Japanese, they do lack a higher tier anti-tank weapon, and this actually makes some sense because, like, historically, you can say that the Germans gave it to the Japanese and call it a day, but on the other hand, what I really don't understand is that the Americans also got this. Now, if the Germans get this, I completely understand, I fully support. I do not understand why the Japanese have this, which, okay, it's not the end of the world if the Japanese do have this weapon. And I certainly don't understand why the Americans have this, because, let's be honest, the Americans have alternatives, and they have better alternatives than this weapon. Of course, Enlisted can definitely give other anti-tank weapons to both the Japanese and the Americans, not so much the Japanese, because historically there weren't a lot of anti-tank weapons for the Japanese, but still we can give a lot of anti-tank weapons for the Americans, instead of just copy and paste German weapons to the American tech tree. It's not only not unique, very unique, it also doesn't make any sense. Moving on, we have the final thing, and that is the M2 carbine. Now, when I mean the M2 carbine, I don't mean the American M2 carbine. As a matter of fact, I do think the American M2 carbine is some of the best weapons in the game, or it used to be one of the best weapons in the game. But as of right now, the M2 carbine for the Japanese. Yes, you heard me correct. Not only is it historical, from all sources we have, it doesn't make sense at all. For starters, the M2 carbine was never captured by the Japanese, and that is mainly because the M2 carbine usage in the Pacific Front was very little. The Japanese would capture the M1 carbine, not the M2 carbine, mainly because, once again, the M2 was rare. That said, they also wouldn't saw off the barrel of the M2. Like, I kid you not, one of the things that really slams me in the face is the fact that Enlisted decides to give the Japanese a sawed-off M2 carbine. For those who don't know, the Japanese did capture the M1 carbine, like I said, but they did not saw off the barrel, which should come as no surprise because it wouldn't make any sense. It's like giving you a rifle but then sawing off the barrel of the rifle and sawing off the butt of the rifle. It just doesn't make sense. So that is something to note. In my personal opinion, these are the three things that Enlisted should definitely remove. I mean, there are so much better alternatives. As of right now, the jets, I mean, it's not the end of the world that you add jets, mainly because you can potentially call it going to the Cold War, but I don't think Enlisted is ready just yet. I do think it should happen, I just don't think it's ready for it. The Panzerschreck doesn't make sense because, well, yeah, Japan needs an anti-tank weapon, but the Americans certainly do not need another German anti-tank weapon, considering the fact that the Americans have their own anti-tank weapons. And of course, the M2 carbine straight upright is like, what the heck is going on? Not only does it not make any sense historically, it also just doesn't make any sense at all. Needless to say, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.